the economy here in Southern Ontario. Here in Hamilton, the Thorold multimodal hub, and most recently, the $1.6 billion announcement of Asahi Kasai in the city of Port Colborne, all brought together by an all-hands-on-deck team effort. Advantage of a now established, internationally recognized trade corridor. With that, and as I mentioned earlier, it is an all-hands-on-deck effort. Not only here with respect to the partners in this area in Hamilton and Niagara, the private sector, but all levels of government, municipalities, regional government, the province, and the federal government. And no better partner than the individual I want to introduce to you today. A partner that has been committed to ensuring that he takes his file, transport, and applies it to supply chains, economy, as well as the traditional aspects of the file. So with that, it's now my pleasure to welcome, introduce a colleague, a friend, an individual who has been instrumental in strengthening the economy of our communities, the Minister, the Honorable Pablo Rodriguez, to deliver some great news before us today. Pablo?
All right. Thank you so much, friend. So Vance, Ian, it's great to be here. It's great to be out of Ottawa, actually, also, and out of the rain, see the sun here. It's so beautiful. Thank you for the kind introduction, my friend. And thank you for having us here today, Ian. On le sait, l'administration portuaire, c'est un poumon économique qui est étroitement lié à l'économie de la région et depuis l'année dernière, plus de 11 millions de tonnes métriques de marchandises sont passées par Hamilton, Niagara, Oshawa. Donc, c'est une augmentation de 9% par rapport à l'année précédente. So, there's been like a 9% increase in freight passing through Hamilton, Niagara, and Oshawa over the previous year. That's great, guys. You're doing something very good here. That's huge. As you know, strong supply chains means that Canadians get what they need, when they need it, at an affordable price. And strong supply chains are key, and you know it. I mean, you guys know it more than anyone else. And so let me tell you that our supply chain, thanks to the work of key hubs like HOPA and others, they're very strong. They're actually very strong across our country. But there's more that we can do, and there's more that we will do to advance a resilient and sustainable future. Because government believes in investing in Kenyans, we believe investing in every generation, and our investment in infrastructure, like the projects we're here to announce today, well, they drive innovation. They help to create a better future for all Kenyans, and also I would say people around the world. So I'm proud. Really proud to announce that we're investing over $51 million in 19 projects across the country under the National Trade Corridors Fund, the NTCF. So let's talk about a few of the projects. There's one like the development of shared digital infrastructure and data analytics tools at the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority and the Greater Vancouver Gateway. In this specific case, we're investing $9.3 million to gain insights into how the port operations are performing. And this data will help to identify bottlenecks and allow the port to fix them. Another example with the CN, who will work to replace some manual processes with digital tools, allowing for automatic data exchange. And that's an investment of $7 million that will also help to fund a second project with Metrolinx and automatic data exchange system. And the goal is to allow Metrolinx to better integrate their train schedules to CN's dispatch system. So this will improve how the two organizations coordinate, how they plan, how they exchange the data that will lead to reduced congestion, costs, and also delays. And CN is telling us that once that's complete, they can use that same technology on other railways it shares with others. So here, with HOPA, I'm happy to share some news that the Hamilton Offshore Port Authority, you know them well, the guys, right? They continue to grow. They serve the region's need. So we're investing here $256,000 in an intelligent vehicle management system here at the port. It was a pleasure for me to approve the project, especially after being threatened by Vance. And this investment will allow the Port Authority to upgrade their digital infrastructure with solutions like license plate recognition cameras to monitor vehicle traffic. So they will also be able to install custom software to monitor, collect, and store information about vehicle traffic at 12 port access points. So, and I'm told Vance will personally install all the cameras. So, and I have to tell you guys, this guy here, he talks to me about HOPA and everything you guys are doing and what you can do, I would say almost every single day. The only time he doesn't talk to me about it, it's when I'm not in Ottawa. But the rest of the time, I would say he's your biggest defender. So, this is a great project. On est vraiment déterminé à renforcer nos chaînes d'approvisionnement. On veut améliorer nos corridors commerciaux. And what we're announcing here, guys, it's great news for Vance, first of all. It's great news for HOPA. It's great news for the region. Great news for Ontario. And I would say great news for the whole country. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Good job, my friend. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Minister Rodriguez, for sharing this important announcement with us today. As Pablo mentioned, it's not just here in Hamilton, it's across the entire country. And the difference it's making is going to be very good for the economy. These investments will facilitate smoother and more efficient trade, boosting our economy, not only here but across Canada. Enhanced digital infrastructure will attract more business and create more job opportunities all across the nation. Improved efficiency in transportation can lead to reduced emissions and a smaller carbon footprint. Digital technologies can optimize routes and reduce fuel consumption. And this simply would not happen without collaboration. It would not happen without working together with local communities, industries, individual projects. Continuous engagement with our partners is critical and will ensure that these projects meet the needs of all parties involved. And with that, a major partner, as the Minister mentioned, an individual that's been working hard to revitalize the waterfront here in terms of its economical advantages here in Hamilton, as well as in Oshawa, in Niagara. It's a privilege today to invite Mr. Ian Hamilton, President and CEO of the Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority, to say a few words. Ian?
Thanks, Vance, and thank you very much for all of the continued support you give us as Parliamentary Secretary. Certainly, you've moved the needle a great deal in the region, and thank you, Minister Rodriguez, for your supporting our project. And I'd like to pay a special welcome to the Senate Standing Committee of Transportation, who coincidentally is here in Hamilton as well. So we feel very, very popular and blessed to have so many of you here today. Thank you. And as Ms. Rodriguez mentioned, it's the intelligent vehicle management system that we're installing today, which is our project, and it's really going to be designed to collect information and data, and then help us to analyze that information and data for the truck traffic coming on and off the port. Here at Eastport, we handle over 60,000 trucks per year, and by being able to collect the data from both the drivers and from the trucks themselves, we're going to be able to implement decisions and start to implement new systems that's going to allow us to improve our efficiency, reduce waiting times, and also reduce congestion through reduction of idling times. The bulk ports face a unique set of challenges, and the digitization and the work like this is going to help us address those specific challenges. We're very, very proud to be leaders in this area and developing some new technology, and hopefully it'll spread out the rest of the whole recognition that more investment in this area needs to be made. We as Canadians, I think, have a big opportunity to actually increase the amount of data that we do collect and how we distribute it and how we analyze it. So again, we're so proud to be partners in this digitization project and part of the Transport Canada strategy around digitization. And again, I want to thank Parliamentary Secretary Badawey and Minister Rodriguez for all of your ongoing support and recognition of the impact that Hope is having on our regional economies. Thank you very much.
Before I turn it over to our press secretary, I do want to make one more comment with respect to, especially with members of the Senate here, with respect to how work like this gets done. One of the work together, and how important it is that we continue to do that. Parking the politics, parking the partisanship, and concentrating on the business of government. And when we work together in that fashion, regardless of whether it's in the House of Commons, Queen's Park, here locally, municipalities, and with the private sector, things like this happen. Growth happens. Economy happens. People get back to work. People get better jobs. People get more money. People can spend more. People can live better. And that's what Canada is all about. So it's a pleasure to have the Senate, members of the Senate here today to witness what's happening here in our part of the country, as well as yes, recognizing what is happening, but more importantly, how it's happening. And it's by working together that we're actually able to create the economy that we're recognizing here in both Hamilton and within the Niagara region. So with that, I will now turn it over to Laurent who will moderate the question and answer period. Laurent?
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to begin the media Q&A period. So please state your name and outlet prior to asking your question. Thank you.
Good morning, Minister. Sorry, I'm not tall enough for this. I'm trying to lower it. Lisa Pileski from Global News, CHML. Just wondering, I know the Port Authority has talked about the need for a CBSA warehouse to kind of improve, the supply chain and make things easier to bring in and make Hamilton more of a multimodal area. So just wondering about the progress in terms of getting a CBSA warehouse to kind of help speed those things along.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for the question. Before I answer, just how happy I am to see my colleagues from the Senate and the chair, Mr. Leo Housakos, were a colleague from Montreal, and all of them. I'm happy to see all senators, including Cosner, here with us today. Some of them doing very serious work. But it's important. The fact that they're on the ground, they're seeing the operations here, allows a better understanding, a better conversation. I had the chance to be in front of committee many times in my previous life as Minister of Canadian Heritage, and we had interesting conversations at the time, and I'm sure we'll have others in the future. So it's great to see you guys. And as for the questions, I know that it's an important project for the region. We are in discussions, as you know. CBSAs require more people. They're going to get more money, for more staffing. Then there will be a discussion between the minister in charge, Mr. Leblanc, and the region. But we fully understand the potential that this can bring for the region. And honestly, everything that HOPA is doing here, and because we hear it a lot in Ottawa through my friend Vance, and if anything that's possible, we do it. But then again, it will depend on the resources available at CBSA.
Hi, Al Sweeney from CHCH News here in Hamilton. Could I ask Mr. Hamilton a question? Could you just run down again, please, the overall changes being announced today and the particular project being announced for the Port of Hamilton? What's that going to mean in the future for this port, for the city?
Right, thanks. Yeah, it's sort of a pilot project in which we're installing equipment which will allow us to track truck traffic coming on and off the port. The ultimate outcome, so here what we're doing is an area that handles a great deal of wheat and salt and other grain or agricultural products. And the goal here is let's look at the 60,000 trucks and the flows throughout the year. What it specifically looks like is allowing us to manage the truck flows, allowing us to improve efficiencies, early notification of drivers to say, okay, we've got congestion here, why don't you come in this way? By doing that, we hope to be able to reduce idling times, and that has a positive impact on greenhouse gas emissions, and allows the truck drivers to plan a little bit more as well, which will improve supply chain capacity, but also reduce the operating costs. So hopefully that explains what we're looking for.
Thanks.
Okay.
Minister, could I ask you the same question, please? Sort of the big picture of what's going on, the overall announcement, particularly looked at through what's happening here in Hamilton. What kind of difference is it going to make in the future?
Well, this means a better flow, better knowledge of what's happening here. So it helps. When we have strong and resilient supply chain, it's good for the economy, it's good for all Canadians because it means we can keep the prices lower. And that's absolutely essential. We've seen it through the pandemic when the supply chain was irregularly broken, the impact it had on prices, on accessibility to products. So a strong supply chain requires projects like this one here, and that's why we're happy to support the port.
Thank you.
Al, if I can add too as well, you know, we have a huge advantage here in Hamilton, Niagara. We're within a 1 day's drive of over 44% of North America's annual income. 1 day's drive of over 44% of North America's annual income. So when we see aggregate containers, goods coming off a ship or off a train or onto a ship, that truck can go to the eastern seaboard, New York, Baltimore, Boston, Washington, over into the southern areas, Cleveland, Toledo, Cincinnati, over into the west, Detroit, Chicago, and back into Ontario, the GTA, into Montreal within 1 day. And to have this multimodal hub here in Hamilton and in Niagara is an anomaly. It's world class. So what we're working on right now is the capacity needed to strengthen not only the trade corridor, but then to add to fluidity within our supply chains, not just here domestically, but binationally and internationally, to ultimately strengthen our overall global trade performance, our international trade performance. We have that here. And because of HOPA and the work that they're doing, working with the partners from the private sector all across Southern Ontario, and the support we have from the minister and the federal government, it's happening. 2 weeks ago, you read an announcement in the city of Port Colborne, $1.6 billion, Asahi Kasai. There's a reason why they're coming to Niagara. There's a reason why they're coming to Southern Ontario. It's been an all-hands-on-deck approach to ensure that the economy is strengthened based on the efforts of the team from all levels of government and the private sector to ensure the economy of this area not only lends itself to the area in particular, but across the country, and once again, strengthening our international trade performance.
Well, so would it be fair to say that an announcement like this today could lead to more projects like the Asahi project in Port Colborne?
If you ask him, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ian, Ian has to be given a lot of credit, most of the credit, quite frankly. We're just a mechanism. We're a lever. Contribute to ensure that that economy is growing. But where the rubber hits the road is the partners that are actually doing it. Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority, Niagara, the BMI Group, and the list goes on. Attracting that business, first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase, but also the supply chain attached to that business. So when you see the announcement made in Alliston, Honda, and the 3 supply chain companies that they've announced, one now being located in Niagara, working together, there's a lot more attached to that with respect to the feed that it's going to need through the supply chain to ensure that they have the products that's required to put the final product out to the market.
Minister, could I just ask you one more question, a slightly different topic? This has come up in terms of the Port of Hamilton, the fight against stolen cars being shipped to foreign countries. There was a mention recently that there was going to be more of a focus on on whether that kind of thing is happening here? Can you say anything about that?
Well, as you know, we held a national summit a few months ago where the Prime Minister was there, many ministers, but also all the partners were around the table. Different police forces like municipal, provincial, the RCMP was there, the insurance companies, car manufacturers, ports, because we needed that discussion. That was extremely important to have. But not only the discussion, but also finding concrete solutions, and that's what we're now putting in place. For example, in terms of justice, there will be harder consequences for people that steal cars, for people that steal cars more than once. And if they use a teenager and they destroy the life of that kid because they're using him or her to steal a car, there'll be stiffer consequences. And that's the right thing to do. And also, as Minister of Transport, I'm asking the car manufacturers to make sure that they put some devices in there to make the cars harder to steal, and if they're stolen, easier to find. So we're all bringing solutions at the table. There will be more money for CBC, more technology in terms of scanners, for example, for identify when there's cars in a container. We're improving ways to communicate between all the players. Because one of the things I realized when I came in as a transport minister is that there's very little communication between all those players, between the trucks, between the ports, between the trains. We'll be able, and the police will be able to communicate better and to improve the situation.
Is there any indication that that kind of thing is happening here in Hamilton?
No.
Or could?
No. Unless you hide it under the grain there, but I don't think so.
This is a bulk quote.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Back to you, MP Badawey.
Well, this concludes today's event, and I'll say this in conclusion. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for all the work. I see a lot of faces that we see on almost every day that gets a lot of this work done. And as I said earlier, this is all about people working together, an all hands on deck approach, and lending itself to the folks that will benefit from the investments that are being made from all levels of government, from the private sector. Again, this is all about people. And the announcement made today is going to lend itself to that. So once again, I thank you for being here today. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend.
Oh.